From the very first breath of human consciousness, we have been drawn to the unknown, to the shadows that linger just beyond the edges of understanding. There is a quiet fascination in the spaces where logic falters, where facts leave gaps that imagination quietly fills. Tonight, we invite you to step softly into that liminal space, to wander through stories that defy reason, and to let curiosity guide you as we explore mysteries that seem to have no resolution. These 70 enigmas, stretching across history, science, and the natural world, are not meant to frighten or startle. Instead, they are invitations, softly whispered, almost like a lullaby of the inexplicable, to wonder, to reflect, and to drift alongside the mysteries that surround us. Even in the familiar, there exists a world that resists explanation, subtle patterns, and anomalies that hint at secrets we have yet to fully perceive. The ordinary is never entirely ordinary. It is imbued with layers of meaning, remnants of stories long forgotten, or phenomena that simply cannot be explained. Perhaps it is the shadow that moves slightly out of place in a quiet room, the whisper of wind that seems too deliberate, or a fleeting light on the horizon at dusk. Each of these moments carries a gentle tension, a reminder that our reality is far richer than the surface allows us to see. These are not events that demand action or alarm. They are observations that invite patience, that encourage us to dwell in the quiet wonder of the unknown. Some of the mysteries we will explore are ancient, carved in stone by hands that have long since vanished into the annals of time. Monuments, megaliths, and inscriptions endure as silent witnesses, speaking through the ages without uttering a single word. They are creations of human ambition, ingenuity, and perhaps devotion, yet their true purposes remain elusive. We may marvel at the precision with which a stone was moved or the alignment of a temple with the rising sun, but the full understanding of intention often escapes us. These creations leave behind echoes of thought, fragments of culture, and hints of ritual, all carefully preserved yet cloaked in mystery. In contemplating them, one is drawn into a meditative state, considering not only what was built, but also why and how it has resisted full comprehension for centuries. Other mysteries are fleeting, ephemeral events that appear for only a brief moment, leaving behind a sense of wonder rather than concrete evidence. A strange light in the sky, an inexplicable sound in the dead of night, or a shadow that seems to move with intention can ignite curiosity in a subtle, almost hypnotic way. These experiences challenge perception and invite reflection, encouraging the observer to notice the nuances of the world around them. It is in these quiet encounters, often overlooked in the rush of daily life, that the unknown manifests most poignantly, reminding us that the boundaries of reality are porous, delicate, and ever-shifting. Throughout human history, the desire to understand the unknown has driven exploration, innovation, and storytelling. Civilizations have left records of strange phenomena, accounts of beings that cannot be explained, and chronicles of events that challenge conventional logic. Yet, even as knowledge has expanded, the universe has continued to reveal mysteries that resist explanation. There is a rhythm to this unfolding curiosity. The discovery of the known leads inevitably to the revelation of the unknown. Each question answered seems to reveal multiple new questions, creating a tapestry of wonder that stretches across time and space, inviting contemplation rather than certainty. The allure of mystery is not merely in the challenge of solving it, but in the act of observation itself. It is in the pause, the quiet moment when a question arises and lingers, unanswered, like a soft echo in an empty hall. These moments allow the mind to drift gently, exploring possibilities without pressure, embracing ambiguity with calm awareness. There is a beauty in not knowing, a serenity in accepting that some aspects of reality may remain forever beyond grasp. In this space, curiosity becomes a meditative practice, a gentle exploration of the edge between comprehension and imagination. As we move through the stories of 70 baffling mysteries, there will be patterns and contrasts that emerge. Light and shadow will intermingle, facts will meet speculation, and the familiar will be set against the unfathomable. Some tales will speak to our understanding of history, while others will challenge the boundaries of science, logic, or even perception itself. The rhythm of each story has been carefully considered, designed to draw the listener into a calm, yet engaged state, where wonder can flourish without fear. It is a rhythm akin to the ebb and flow of tides, a gentle cadence that soothes while intrigues, perfect for drifting along the edge of consciousness. Some mysteries come to us through tangible remnants, artifacts, monuments, writings, and objects whose purpose or origin has been lost to time. Each one carries a silent story, a whisper of the intentions, beliefs, and knowledge of its creators. In contemplating these objects, the mind travels backward through time, reconstructing possible narratives, imagining the hands that shaped them and the lives that surrounded them. The artifacts themselves act as gateways into the past, inviting reflection and meditation, fostering a sense of connection across centuries. Even without full understanding, their presence is enough to stir awe, curiosity, and quiet contemplation. Other mysteries are intangible, woven into experience and perception. They appear in fleeting moments, the sudden sense of being watched, the inexplicable feeling that a place holds hidden significance, or the recurring experience of patterns that defy coincidence. These experiences are ephemeral, yet profoundly impactful, encouraging reflection on the nature of reality and the limits of human perception. They remind us that the world is far larger and stranger than our senses alone can comprehend, and that the edge of understanding is often where the most subtle and profound wonders reside. In embracing these fleeting mysteries, one learns to dwell comfortably in uncertainty, to find serenity in not knowing, and to allow curiosity to guide thought gently. The world of the unknown is also a bridge between history and imagination. By observing anomalies, artifacts, and inexplicable phenomena, we are invited to consider not only what occurred, but also the stories that may have been lost, the knowledge that may have been forgotten, and the possibilities that remain hidden. Each mystery becomes a meditation on time itself, illustrating the impermanence of human endeavor and the enduring presence of questions that span generations. It is a quiet reminder that history is not simply what is recorded, but also what remains concealed, what persists only in echoes, shadows, and fragments. Throughout these stories, there is a recurring theme: the coexistence of certainty and ambiguity, light and shadow, known and unknown. This delicate interplay encourages a reflective state of mind, where curiosity and contemplation replace urgency and anxiety. The mind is invited to drift slowly, like a leaf on a gentle stream, navigating the currents of history, science, and the human imagination. In this calm state, mystery is not intimidating. It is comforting, offering an expansive landscape for thought, reflection, and wonder. As we embark on this journey, consider the quiet majesty of the unknown. Each mystery, whether ancient or fleeting, tangible or ephemeral, offers an opportunity to engage with the world in a deeper, more contemplative way. They encourage patience, observation, and gentle imagination, fostering a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves. In exploring these 70 baffling mysteries, the audience is guided along a path that flows seamlessly from curiosity to contemplation, from observation to reflection, allowing the mind to absorb, wander, and dream in a serene, immersive manner. This opening section sets the tone for the journey ahead, establishing a rhythm of calm engagement, quiet intrigue, and poetic reflection that will carry through every story yet to come. Tonight, as we begin, it is not answers that we seek, but the pleasure of exploration itself. In the dance between the known and the unknown, in the interplay of light and shadow, we find a gentle rhythm that soothes as it fascinates. Each story, each fragment of mystery, becomes a soft echo in the mind, a thread woven into the fabric of human wonder. There is no need to rush, no need to solve, only to listen, imagine, and reflect. And as we step into the first of 70 stories, the quiet invitation remains to let curiosity drift freely, to dwell in the beauty of uncertainty, and to allow the world's baffling mysteries to unfold gently, one after another, like whispers in the night. Across the continents, there lie remnants of civilizations long gone, structures that defy both time and comprehension. Stones taller than men, walls heavier than imagination, and intricate alignments with the heavens. They all speak to a knowledge and skill that seems almost otherworldly. These creations, etched into the landscape, hint at lives and intentions that have long faded, leaving behind puzzles that continue to baffle modern scholars. As we walk through the ruins, the air seems to hum with silent questions. Why were these structures built with such precision? How did ancient hands achieve what even modern technology struggles to replicate? And what secrets were encoded within their very design, waiting for eyes attuned enough to discern them? Consider the great megaliths scattered across Europe and the Middle East, each site a testament to human ingenuity, yet shrouded in mystery. Some align perfectly with solstices, tracing celestial paths with uncanny accuracy. Others stand in isolated plains or atop high hills, where no clear practical purpose seems to exist. The contrast between the raw effort required to transport massive stones and the seeming lack of functional need awakens a quiet wonder. What drove people to move and carve these colossal blocks? And why has the reasoning behind these feats been lost to time? As we reflect on these questions, the mind drifts between admiration for human skill and curiosity about the unknown forces, social, spiritual, or perhaps even cosmic, that may have inspired such monumental undertakings. In other corners of the world, elaborate underground tunnels and hidden chambers whisper tales of secrecy and ritual. Beneath the surface, intricate passageways twist and turn, connecting spaces in ways that challenge simple explanation. Were they escape routes, ceremonial sites, or something even more enigmatic? Archaeologists and historians can trace the materials, techniques, and styles, yet the purpose remains elusive, cloaked in layers of time and legend. Walking through these sites in imagination, one feels a connection to those who built them, a sense that their intentions might be forever just out of reach, preserved in shadowed stone and silent corridors. Even more perplexing are artifacts discovered within these ancient structures, objects that seem to belong to another era or knowledge far beyond what was expected. Tools too advanced, markings too precise, and symbols whose meaning has been lost challenge our understanding of human development. The juxtaposition between what we can see, measure, and analyze, and what remains inexplicably sophisticated, invites a calm, almost meditative curiosity. These structures are not just remnants of history. They are puzzles, carefully arranged invitations to ponder the extraordinary capabilities of our ancestors. Yet, it is not just the physical enormity of these monuments that captivates the mind. It is the subtle interplay between history and mystery, fact and imagination. Observing these works from a quiet distance, one begins to sense the rhythm of a civilization that spoke through stone, yet left no words to fully explain its motives. We are reminded that history is not merely a collection of dates and events, but a tapestry woven with unanswered questions. Each site, each stone, each alignment becomes a soft echo of human curiosity, inviting us to linger, to imagine, and to wonder. As our exploration moves from one ancient wonder to another, a pattern emerges. Across time and geography, humans have sought to leave behind more than shelter or fortification. They have reached for permanence, meaning, and connection with something larger than themselves, perhaps even the cosmos itself. The grandeur of these constructions lies not only in their scale or precision, but in the quiet dialogue they establish across centuries. Each monument whispers to us, challenging us to look beyond the ordinary, to feel the pull of questions that may never be fully answered. And in that gentle tension between comprehension and mystery, we find a sense of calm wonder, perfectly suited for the quiet journey into the unexplained that lies ahead. Throughout history, there have been moments when people, places, and even entire civilizations seem to vanish without explanation, leaving behind nothing but whispers and speculation. Ships disappear in calm waters, cities are abandoned seemingly overnight, and individuals vanish without a trace, defying all attempts at understanding. These mysteries are particularly haunting because they challenge the very foundations of logic. Records exist, yet evidence of physical presence disappears, as if the world itself had swallowed them. It is in this space between presence and absence that curiosity quietly blooms, a soft tug on the mind, inviting contemplation rather than alarm. As we explore these vanishings, there is a gentle rhythm to the stories, each one a quiet echo of human fragility and the unknown forces that shape our world. Consider the mysterious disappearance of entire populations, where archaeological evidence reveals once thriving communities suddenly abandoned, leaving behind tools, homes, and possessions, yet no clear explanation. Theories abound: plagues, natural disasters, invasions, but often no single answer suffices. The contrast between the vibrancy of life that once existed and the sudden, haunting emptiness that remains evokes a strange, contemplative fascination. In some cases, signs of sudden departure appear almost deliberate, as though the inhabitants knew something we cannot know. Observing these remnants in imagination, one senses the tension between the certainty of what was and the uncertainty of what became, a quiet meditation on the impermanence of human endeavor. On the open seas, countless vessels have disappeared under circumstances that continue to puzzle historians and scientists. Some vanished during violent storms, yet no debris was ever found. Others were recorded as last seen in calm waters, their crews never heard from again. The contrast between our modern expectation of order and these inexplicable voids reinforces the sense that even in a world meticulously documented, mysteries persist. The allure of these vanishings lies not only in the unknown, but also in the human stories entwined with them. The families, the travelers, the explorers who left behind traces only in records, memories, and fleeting artifacts. Some disappearances are smaller in scale, but equally enigmatic, leaving individuals untraceable despite extensive searches and modern technology. These cases are often subtle, almost whispering in their mystery, yet they captivate our imagination profoundly. In quiet reflection, we consider the fragility of our existence and the limits of human understanding. The silence that follows each vanishing speaks louder than any explanation could, offering a space for contemplation and awe rather than fear. The stories linger in the mind, soft echoes that balance wonder with melancholy, creating a perfect cadence for immersive storytelling. Yet these vanishings are not confined to people or cities alone. Some objects, relics, and even entire species have disappeared, leaving gaps in knowledge that scientists and historians still struggle to fill. Fossils of creatures once thought impossible, artifacts that defy origin, and records of events with no corroborating evidence all form a tapestry of absence that fascinates as much as it frustrates. Each instance presents a contrast between expectation and reality, the known and the unknowable, reminding us that the world is far more intricate and elusive than our attempts to categorize it might suggest. It is in this interplay of presence and absence, of documented fact and lingering question, that the mind finds a calm intrigue, a gentle invitation to ponder and drift into curiosity. As we move through these stories, there emerges a quiet rhythm, a flow from human endeavor to the silent aftermath, from the bustle of life to the eerie emptiness of unexplained disappearance. The vanishing of people, cities, and objects becomes more than a mystery. It transforms into a meditation on the limits of perception, memory, and evidence. In this reflective space, the unknown is not threatening, but soothing, a gentle reminder that the world holds secrets that may never be solved, and that sometimes the questions themselves are the most compelling part of the journey. And in this subtle tension between what was, what is, and what cannot be explained, the mind is invited to wander, dream, and simply exist alongside the mysteries that defy logic. The natural world, in all its beauty and precision, is a realm of order and predictability. Yet occasionally, it presents phenomena that defy expectation and challenge even the most meticulous scientific observation. From unexplained lights dancing across night skies to sounds echoing through forests and oceans without identifiable source, nature occasionally whispers secrets that evade understanding. These subtle anomalies are reminders that the world is not entirely governed by rules we can comprehend, that even in the serene rhythm of sunrise and tide, there exist pockets of profound mystery. In observing these occurrences, the mind is invited to shift from the certainty of fact to the quiet wonder of the unexplained, letting curiosity flow gently like a calm river through the imagination. In remote landscapes, strange formations appear without clear cause. Rocks arranged in unusual patterns, trees twisted into unnatural shapes, and ground disturbances that suggest movement without human or animal intervention all hint at forces beyond ordinary perception. Scientists may offer theories, wind, erosion, seismic activity, but often these explanations only partially illuminate the phenomenon, leaving a lingering sense of intrigue. The contrast between what is expected and what is observed is subtle yet compelling, encouraging contemplation rather than alarm. One can imagine standing quietly in such a place, letting the mystery settle around them like mist, feeling the quiet pull of the unknown without urgency or fear. The skies themselves are full of anomalies that have fascinated humanity for centuries. Strange lights, unexplained aerial formations, and objects moving in ways that defy physics invite observers to consider the limits of human perception. Some phenomena are fleeting, captured only in memory or brief photographs, leaving no trace for verification. Others recur in patterns that remain partially understood, teasing both scientists and enthusiasts alike. The gentle pacing of these stories allows the mind to follow without strain, tracing each anomaly with a sense of awe rather than anxiety, and discovering in each unexplained light or motion a quiet meditation on the vastness of what we do not know. Even the sounds of the natural world can carry hints of the inexplicable, from low hums that vibrate through the earth to eerie echoes that reverberate through forests. These auditory mysteries create a subtle tension between comprehension and wonder. Some have been traced to environmental causes. Others persist without explanation, their sources remaining hidden in the folds of nature itself. Listening to such sounds and imagination, one senses both familiarity and strangeness, the ordinary imbued with the extraordinary. It is in this space, between what is heard and what can be fully understood, that curiosity unfolds gently, encouraging quiet reflection rather than restless questioning. The ocean, with its immense depth and hidden landscapes, holds some of the most profound natural mysteries. Strange currents, unidentifiable creatures glimpsed in fleeting moments, and sounds that resonate through miles of water offer glimpses into a world largely inaccessible to humans. Here, the interplay between the known and the unknown is stark. Detailed maps and advanced technologies illuminate much, yet the ocean retains its secrets. This contrast amplifies a sense of awe, a reminder that even in the age of information, parts of our planet remain unexplored, enigmatic, and quietly compelling. Observing these mysteries, the viewer is invited to appreciate not only what is revealed, but also what remains unseen, a calm acknowledgement of nature's boundless complexity. In contemplating these curious phenomena, a pattern emerges. The natural world is not merely a stage for human activity, but a living tapestry in which the mysterious is interwoven with the ordinary. Each unexplained light, sound, or formation becomes a gentle invitation to pause, to reflect, and to immerse oneself in the beauty of uncertainty. The rhythm of these mysteries is slow and measured, like waves lapping against the shore, providing a calming cadence that encourages deep focus without tension. As we move from the natural anomalies of Earth to the human stories that challenge comprehension, there is a seamless transition, a bridge between what is observable in nature and the equally perplexing mysteries created by human hands, minds, and imagination. Throughout time, humans have reported encounters that defy explanation, fleeting experiences that linger in memory long after the moment has passed. Some describe ghostly figures appearing in familiar spaces, a presence sensed more than seen, leaving behind only an uneasy calm. Others recount glimpses of creatures that should not exist, beings that blur the line between imagination and reality. These encounters share a common thread. They exist at the edge of perception, where the mind reaches toward understanding yet finds only a quiet, lingering mystery. It is in this gentle tension between what is observed and what remains unknowable that the mind opens, curiosity quietly taking the lead. Some encounters are subtle, almost imperceptible, a shadow that moves against the grain of light, a whisper in an empty room, a fleeting silhouette seen from the corner of the eye. They leave no trace, no concrete evidence, yet the emotional resonance is undeniable. The calm fascination they inspire arises from the contrast between the ordinary world, grounded in logic and routine, and these inexplicable moments that intrude upon it. Even the smallest anomaly, an unusual sound, a sudden chill, a sense of being observed, can awaken a sense of wonder, a reminder that reality is broader and more mysterious than daily life suggests. Each story invites the listener to pause, to imagine, and to reflect on the hidden layers of the world around them. In various cultures, reports of unexplainable beings have persisted across generations, from cryptids hiding in remote forests to spectral figures wandering urban streets. The consistency of such accounts across time and geography suggests a fascination deeply rooted in the human psyche. Observing these stories in quiet contemplation, one begins to notice the pattern. The unknown often appears in forms familiar enough to recognize, yet strange enough to challenge comprehension. The gentle cadence of these narratives encourages reflection rather than fear, allowing the listener to float between the known and the unknown, tracing the outlines of mysteries that resist explanation. Sometimes, encounters are more tangible, objects displaced, footprints that appear without origin, or inexplicable phenomena captured on film or in photographs. Yet even when documentation exists, the truth remains elusive, wrapped in layers of interpretation and conjecture. The contrast between evidence and understanding deepens the sense of mystery, highlighting that human perception is limited and that reality may contain dimensions we are only beginning to sense. In recounting these stories slowly, with careful attention to atmosphere and imagery, the narrative transforms each encounter into a meditation on the vastness of the unknown and the richness of human experience when faced with it. These encounters also reveal the delicate balance between skepticism and belief, a space where reason gently meets imagination. While science can investigate, measure, and analyze, some experiences remain outside the reach of explanation. They are subtle, quiet, and personal, often leaving more questions than answers, and it is precisely this openness that captivates the mind. There is a profound comfort in knowing that not every event needs a solution. That mystery itself can be both engaging and serene. As we move through these accounts, a rhythm emerges, a flow from brief, almost imperceptible incidents to more vivid experiences, each story layering upon the next to create a calm, immersive atmosphere that draws the listener deeper into reflection. The allure of these unexplained encounters lies in their ability to expand perception gently, without alarm or urgency. They remind us that the world is not entirely mapped, that even familiar spaces may hold layers unseen, and that the human experience is richer when it acknowledges uncertainty. These encounters, whether fleeting or persistent, tangible or ethereal, serve as a quiet bridge to the next layer of mystery. The objects, artifacts, and relics that challenge both history and science. They guide us from personal experience to evidence that has endured across time, forming a continuum of curiosity that flows from perception to observation, from human experience to human ingenuity, and from the ephemeral to the enduring. Scattered across the ruins of civilizations, tucked away in forgotten corners of the world, there exist objects that seem almost impossible for their time. Tools fashioned from materials unknown, intricate devices whose mechanisms surpass the expectations of historians, and artifacts whose origin cannot be reconciled with established chronology. All of these create a quiet tension between what we understand and what remains elusive. Holding such an object in imagination, one senses a connection to those who created it, a fleeting touch of human ingenuity that transcends the ordinary. The contrast between documented history and these anomalies encourages a calm, meditative curiosity, allowing the mind to wander gently through possibilities without demanding answers. Some of these artifacts appear remarkably advanced, hinting at knowledge or technology that should have been centuries ahead of their time. Ancient carvings depict mechanisms strikingly similar to modern inventions. Coins and tools bear marks of craftsmanship that seem almost otherworldly. Scholars can analyze materials and study construction techniques, yet the purpose or full understanding often remains just beyond reach. This subtle imbalance between observable fact and lingering enigma fosters a contemplative fascination. In imagining the hands that crafted such objects, one becomes aware of the vast potential of human creativity and the mysteries of what may have been lost to history. Other objects are more enigmatic still, artifacts whose very existence challenges logic, such as maps that depict continents unknown at the time, or relics inscribed with symbols that resist translation. These items create a gentle tension between the world as we know it and the possibilities of forgotten knowledge or undiscovered civilizations. In the calm recounting of these stories, the mind is invited to linger on the boundaries of understanding, to appreciate the subtle elegance of human innovation while pondering the questions that have endured for centuries. Each object becomes a quiet testament to the complexity of human history, a symbol of ingenuity whose full meaning remains hidden, waiting for eyes attuned to perceive it. Some artifacts suggest knowledge that may have been deliberately hidden or preserved in secret. Perhaps they were ceremonial, intended to communicate something only to those initiated, or perhaps they were functional tools whose use has been forgotten over time. Regardless, the effect is the same. The presence of something extraordinary within a familiar world, something that quietly reminds us that history is not entirely transparent. These objects are not meant to shock or startle. Rather, they draw attention through subtle astonishment, awakening a soft curiosity that encourages thoughtful reflection. Their mysteries are enduring precisely because they exist in plain sight, yet resist easy explanation. The allure of these relics also lies in their ability to bridge the gap between past and present. In holding the knowledge of ancient hands, we glimpse the continuity of human ingenuity, realizing that the mysteries of the past still ripple into our understanding today. It is a reminder that history is not static, that our ancestors' accomplishments and secrets continue to challenge, inspire, and provoke thought. This quiet reflection fosters a sense of intimacy with time itself, allowing the audience to feel connected to the long lineage of human discovery while remaining immersed in the soothing cadence of the narrative. Each artifact, tool, or relic carries with it a story not fully told, a narrative that intertwines fact and speculation. Their presence encourages us to embrace uncertainty with patience, to appreciate the elegance of the unknown without a need for immediate resolution. They act as gateways into contemplation, inviting us to imagine civilizations with knowledge we can only partially grasp, to consider the depth of human creativity, and to marvel at the mysteries that survive the passage of centuries. As we move from these objects into the next chapter of mysteries hidden in plain sight, the mind is gently prepared to encounter patterns, signs, and secrets in places we thought familiar, all of which quietly remind us that the world still holds wonders beyond logic. Some of the most compelling mysteries are not hidden in remote landscapes or distant times. They exist quietly in the places we walk past every day, hidden in plain sight. Cryptic carvings etched into familiar stone walls, ancient inscriptions embedded in modern structures, and subtle alignments and landmarks all whisper of meanings that have been obscured or forgotten. These secrets invite a different kind of curiosity, one that does not require travel to exotic locales, but instead asks the observer to look closer, to notice the details often overlooked in the rhythm of everyday life. The contrast between what is visible and what is hidden fosters a gentle tension, a calm anticipation that encourages the mind to linger and explore without haste. Many of these mysteries manifest in symbols and patterns, meticulously placed, but whose significance has long been lost to time. Sometimes they appear as decorative flourishes, so delicate and intricate that their practical function is unclear. Other times, they are more deliberate, forming alignments or sequences that suggest intentional meaning, messages left for those perceptive enough to decipher them. The beauty lies in the subtlety, the quiet satisfaction of encountering something extraordinary within the ordinary. Observing these signs, one cannot help but imagine the hands and minds that crafted them, considering what knowledge, beliefs, or intentions were embedded in their creation. Some sites reveal layers of mystery through repeated motifs, suggesting that their creators wanted these secrets to endure across generations. Patterns in stone, the placement of windows or doors, and even the orientation of entire buildings can encode knowledge, belief systems, or connections to celestial events. The precision and thought behind these arrangements highlight the contrast between human intention and the mystery of what has survived. Even when their meaning is not fully understood, the very act of discovering such details fosters a quiet awe, as though glimpsing a conversation between the past and present, an exchange that requires nothing but patient observation and imagination. In urban environments, too, mysteries persist quietly in plain view. Historical buildings may hide rooms, passages, or markings that hint at forgotten stories. Streets themselves, aligned in ways that suggest ancient planning or hidden symbolism, carry whispers of events and decisions long erased from memory. The subtlety of these secrets invites reflection, prompting the observer to consider the layers of human activity embedded in familiar surroundings. Each discovery, no matter how small, becomes a gentle reminder that history is not always hidden in archives or museums. It can be right before our eyes, quietly challenging perception and expectation. The fascination with hidden mysteries is heightened by their accessibility. They are tangible and immediate, yet their meaning remains just out of reach. This delicate tension encourages a slow, immersive contemplation, allowing the mind to explore possibilities without urgency. In noticing the unusual and the ordinary, we begin to perceive the world with heightened awareness, appreciating that even everyday life contains subtle echoes of the extraordinary. The gentle curiosity inspired by these discoveries mirrors the rhythm of dreams, inviting the audience to drift between observation and imagination, between reality and the suggestion of something more. These hidden signs and subtle enigmas also reinforce a theme that runs throughout the tapestry of mystery. The human intention often leaves traces that endure beyond understanding. They demonstrate that even the most familiar places can contain layers of meaning, waiting for those who take the time to see, to wonder, and to reflect. The quiet rhythm of these mysteries aligns with the pacing of our exploration, serving as a bridge from ancient artifacts and unexplained objects to the broader historical anomalies and events that challenge comprehension. In noticing these hidden wonders, the mind is prepared to continue the journey, carrying forward a sense of calm curiosity, a gentle readiness to encounter the extraordinary woven seamlessly into the fabric of the world around us. History is often presented as a series of clear, linear events, a sequence of dates, names, and accomplishments that can be neatly recorded and studied. Yet, when we peer more closely into the records of the past, anomalies emerge, moments, decisions, and events that defy expectation, that refuse to align with conventional understanding. There are rulers whose lives ended in ways that history cannot fully explain, battles that remain shrouded in contradiction, and sudden cultural shifts whose causes remain speculative at best. The quiet intrigue of these historical anomalies lies not in chaos or violence, but in the subtle ways that the past resists tidy explanations, reminding us that human experience is often far more intricate than it appears on the surface. Consider the sudden disappearance of prominent figures, whose lives and legacies leave behind gaps that invite speculation. Some vanish without trace, leaving chroniclers with only fragmented accounts and rumors. Others survive events in ways that seem improbable or inexplicable, defying expectations based on their circumstances. These stories create a calm tension, a gentle curiosity about the interplay between human intention, coincidence, and forces beyond understanding. By reflecting on these anomalies, one begins to perceive history as a tapestry threaded not only with certainty but also with mystery, where gaps are as telling as recorded events, and questions linger like shadows across centuries. Other historical anomalies involve remarkable achievements that appear to leap ahead of their time. Ancient engineering feats, sophisticated mathematics, and artistic mastery often emerge in isolated pockets, raising questions about knowledge transmission and the limits of human potential. Why did certain cultures achieve technological or cultural heights and then seemingly stagnate? How did knowledge emerge, persist, and sometimes vanish without leaving clear documentation? Observing these patterns gently encourages the mind to contemplate the ebb and flow of human advancement, creating a sense of awe for the ingenuity of our ancestors while acknowledging the vast gaps that remain in our understanding. Some events challenge logic in ways that stretch beyond individual accomplishments. Entire civilizations rise and fall, often leaving behind only fragments that hint at their sophistication and complexity. In some cases, archaeological evidence reveals sudden changes, cities abandoned, traditions abruptly altered, or records destroyed or lost, yet the reasons remain elusive. The contrast between what is documented and what is absent deepens the sense of wonder, illustrating that history is a landscape punctuated by both clarity and enigma. These anomalies are not failures of knowledge, but invitations to reflect on the patterns and irregularities that define human experience, gently guiding the mind toward curiosity and contemplation. There are also historical mysteries whose traces are embedded in the very fabric of our culture. Texts that are incomplete or cryptic, inscriptions whose meanings have faded, and artifacts whose context remains uncertain. These enduring enigmas challenge the assumption that history is fully knowable. They allow the imagination to wander, to reconstruct possibilities without urgency, and to dwell in the tension between fact and speculation. In this way, historical anomalies act as bridges between the past and present, connecting the tangible with the intangible, the recorded with the remembered, and the comprehensible with the inexplicable. As we consider these anomalies, a pattern emerges. History is not merely a collection of events, but a continuum of human experience shaped by intention, circumstance, and the unknown. The contrast between what we can know and what eludes understanding forms the quiet rhythm of fascination, encouraging reflection without haste. It is within this space, where the familiar meets the inexplicable, that curiosity deepens, preparing the mind for the next step in our journey. The cosmic mysteries and celestial phenomena that expand the scale of wonder beyond Earth itself. In pondering these historical irregularities, the listener is gently guided to appreciate the richness of mystery embedded in both human achievement and human limitation, a calm awareness that the unknown is as much a part of history as the known. The human mind is perhaps the greatest enigma of all. Within its delicate folds and hidden chambers lie experiences and phenomena that defy explanation, that stretch the boundaries of logic and understanding. Even the most studied neuroscientists and psychologists, armed with tools and theories, can only partially illuminate the depths of consciousness. And yet, the mind continues to surprise, to confound, and to mesmerize those who dare to peer too closely. There are instances where the mind performs feats that seem impossible, as if guided by forces beyond comprehension. Savants emerge from ordinary lives, individuals who, without formal training or effort, demonstrate extraordinary abilities, a photographic memory, an uncanny mastery of complex mathematics, or the ability to recreate entire symphonies after a single listen. How does the brain, a delicate network of neurons and chemical signals, orchestrate such wonders? The patterns behind these abilities remain largely hidden, whispering secrets that science has yet to fully grasp. Even more haunting are the moments when the mind seems to betray itself, when memories dissolve into shadows. Amnesia, in its many forms, can strip away the foundation of a person's life, erasing identity, relationships, and experiences. Entire years can vanish from memory as if they never existed, leaving a silent void. Yet, fragments persist, fleeting flashes of forgotten faces, indistinct voices, a scent that evokes emotions without explanation. The mind, in these instances, reveals its fragility and its mysteries. What determines what is remembered and what is lost? Why do some recollections linger with sharp clarity while others fade into irretrievable darkness? These questions have puzzled psychologists for decades, and the answers remain tantalizingly out of reach, encouraging wonder rather than providing closure. Sleep itself adds another layer of intrigue. Within the realm of dreams, the conscious mind relaxes its grip and the subconscious emerges. Dreams can be vivid, surreal, or disturbingly precise. There are accounts of individuals who have dreamed events before they occur, experiences that hint at the mind's subtle connection with unseen patterns in reality. While skeptics attribute this to coincidence or the mind's pattern-seeking tendencies, countless testimonies suggest that there may be more than we understand. Dreams can be a bridge between what is known and what is hidden, a realm where the boundaries of time, space, and logic blur into something far more fluid. Even waking experiences can challenge perception. Sudden, unexplainable flashes of insight, moments of intuition so sharp they seem to bypass conscious thought, hint at the mind's hidden capacities. Throughout history, inventors, artists, and thinkers have described these aha moments, instances where solutions or creations arrive fully formed, as though delivered from some unseen source. The origin of such moments remains mysterious, yet they are powerful reminders of the mind's vast potential. It is as if the brain is not only a product of biology, but also a vessel capable of touching something intangible, something beyond our ordinary understanding of reality. Collective experiences add another layer of fascination. Mass hysteria, shared visions, and simultaneous dreams across communities point to the mind's ability to resonate in ways that defy individual explanation. Historical accounts speak of entire villages perceiving strange sounds or visions, of groups experiencing shared phenomena that cannot be verified or explained. The psychology behind such events is only partially understood, and yet they hint at a subtle interconnectedness, a whisper of the mysterious threads that weave together consciousness across time and space. Are these experiences purely the product of imagination, or do they reveal aspects of reality that science is yet to decode? The question lingers, unanswered, yet deeply compelling. Neurological phenomena add further layers to the enigma. Near-death experiences, out-of-body sensations, and sudden, inexplicable states of heightened awareness suggest that consciousness is not entirely bound by the physical brain. People have reported seeing rooms from above, observing medical procedures they could not have known, or experiencing an overwhelming sense of connection and clarity in moments when life itself seems to hang by a thread. These experiences, although difficult to quantify or replicate in laboratory settings, provide glimpses into the mind's vast, unexplored territories. The delicate boundary between life and death, reality and perception, becomes a space where mystery thrives. And then there are the subtle, ordinary moments where the mind's power quietly astonishes. The inexplicable pull of intuition, the fleeting sense that one is being watched, the uncanny ability to predict events without any rational basis. These are the mind's whispering mysteries, easily overlooked yet profoundly unsettling when noticed. They remind us that even in the mundane, the extraordinary resides, lurking just beyond the edges of perception. In these moments, reality feels both familiar and strange, like a landscape scene under the soft glow of twilight, where shadows stretch long and shapes shimmer at the corner of vision. Through all of these phenomena, the mind emerges as both a sanctuary and a labyrinth, a place of immense beauty, infinite potential, and profound mystery. Each unexplained ability, forgotten memory, dream, or intuitive insight is a doorway into deeper understanding. Though the full architecture remains hidden, it is a realm where logic and reason must yield to wonder, where the search for explanation transforms into an appreciation for the astonishing complexity of consciousness. As we explore these hidden corners of the human mind, we are reminded that mystery is not a failure of knowledge, but a vital part of existence, a quiet invitation to marvel at the world within ourselves and beyond. The mind, in its infinite subtlety, mirrors the universe itself, vast, intricate, and full of enigmas waiting to be discovered. By embracing its mysteries, we are not seeking final answers, but learning to move gently with curiosity, appreciating the beauty of questions that may never be fully resolved. And in this calm reflection, we find a bridge between understanding and awe, a place where logic and mystery coexist in quiet harmony. The human mind, after all, is a puzzle as compelling and unfathomable as any unsolved mystery in the world, a reminder that the journey of exploration is often more important than the destination. The world of unsolved crimes and cold cases carries a peculiar tension, a quiet, lingering darkness that refuses to be fully illuminated. Unlike the mysteries of nature or the enigmas of human consciousness, these are grounded in reality, tethered to the lives of real people whose stories remain unfinished. Evidence exists, fragments of truth scattered across time and place. Yet the full picture eludes even the most diligent investigators. Each unsolved crime is a doorway into uncertainty, where facts meet speculation, and where the human need for closure comes up against the stubborn persistence of the unknown. It is within this tension that fascination grows, a subtle pull that draws the mind toward questions with no immediate answers, toward stories suspended in shadow. Some of these cases have become infamous, whispered about across generations, their details etched into the collective imagination. The names and faces of those involved linger in memory, their lives paused mid-narrative. In certain instances, evidence seems tantalizingly close to revelation. A single clue, a fingerprint, a fleeting witness account, but the solution never arrives. Investigators painstakingly reconstruct timelines, reconstruct motives, yet gaps remain, shadows where certainty cannot dwell. The eerie calm of these cold cases mirrors the stillness of a world where answers are just out of reach, leaving an intangible sense of unease. Even decades later, the questions persist, gently gnawing at the edges of human curiosity. Other stories are quieter, The unknowns, almost imperceptible but no less compelling. A disappearance in a small town, an unsolved theft, a mysterious death. These cases may never reach headlines, yet they resonate in a subtler, haunting way. The ordinary settings, the mundane details, make the absence of resolution all the more chilling. It is in these everyday mysteries that we confront the fragility of our understanding, reminded that even the most familiar spaces can hide secrets beyond imagination. The mind, attuned to pattern and resolution, senses the incompleteness and lingers, compelled by questions that have no simple answers. Cold cases often reveal more than just the puzzle itself. They expose the human yearning for explanation. Families remain suspended in waiting, communities in quiet speculation, and investigators in perpetual search for that missing piece. The emotional resonance of each case adds depth to the mystery, highlighting the contrast between human desire for closure and the intransigence of reality. In many ways, unsolved crimes reflect the broader tension that threads through all unexplained phenomena. The interplay between the known and the unknown, the visible and the hidden. Here, the stakes feel real, immediate, and poignant, a reminder that mysteries are not only intellectual puzzles, but also lived experiences, shaping the lives of countless people in subtle and profound ways. Historical unsolved crimes add an extra layer of fascination. Events from centuries past, shrouded in the mists of time, continue to provoke speculation. Ancient murders, unexplained disappearances of explorers, and mysterious deaths of historical figures are revisited with each new generation of historians and enthusiasts. The passage of time deepens the mystery. As records fade and evidence disappears, imagination fills the void. These historical cold cases remind us that mystery is not limited to the present, that uncertainty is a constant companion of human existence. The past, in all its incompleteness, whispers across centuries, inviting reflection and contemplation. What makes these stories particularly compelling is the interplay between fact and theory. For every detail that is verified, there are multiple interpretations. Was a disappearance the result of foul play or accident? Did a murder have a motive hidden from view, or was it an act of chance? Each new theory adds to the tapestry of intrigue, creating a space where speculation and reality coexist. The calm, deliberate unfolding of evidence in these cases mirrors the reflective pacing of nature itself. The slow accumulation of hints, the careful observation of patterns, the quiet patience that precedes revelation or acceptance of enduring mystery. In modern times, advances in technology have both illuminated and deepened these enigmas. DNA analysis, digital forensics, and global communication networks have solved cases once deemed hopeless, yet countless mysteries persist despite these tools. Sometimes the most sophisticated methods yield nothing more than a dead end, leaving investigators and observers alike suspended in anticipation. This juxtaposition of progress and persistent uncertainty underscores a central truth about the human experience. The more we uncover, the more we realize the vastness of what remains unknown. It is a humbling reminder that even with all our resources, some mysteries are not so easily tamed. The allure of unsolved crimes is amplified by their unpredictability. Unlike natural phenomena, which can often be measured and charted, or historical patterns, which can be traced, crimes are the product of human action, which is endlessly variable. Every human mind is a labyrinth, every motive a puzzle within a puzzle. This unpredictability ensures that cold cases remain fertile ground for speculation and imagination, for reflection on the limits of logic and reasoning. Each unsolved case is a silent testament to human complexity, a reminder that not all actions can be neatly categorized or explained, and that sometimes the darkness is not merely the absence of light, but a force that resists illumination altogether. And yet, within this darkness, there is a quiet beauty. There is something profoundly contemplative about lingering with the unknown, about allowing the mind to trace patterns that may never fully resolve. These mysteries invite reflection on patience, on humility, and on the subtle interplay between human curiosity and the universe's indifference. They are a mirror of the broader mysteries that surround us, enigmas of history, consciousness, and nature, reminding us that life is a journey through uncertainty. The unresolved tension of cold cases mirrors the unresolved questions of existence itself, and in this gentle recognition, a strange comfort emerges. The absence of resolution is not emptiness, but an invitation to wonder. In this meditative space, the mind learns to coexist with uncertainty, to appreciate the quiet fascination of what cannot be known. The stories of unsolved crimes and cold cases are not merely tales of human misfortune. They are narratives that encourage a calm engagement with mystery, a reflective journey into the shadows that surround all of life. They teach patience, subtle observation, and the capacity to marvel at the intricacy of events beyond comprehension. They remind us that the world is larger than any single explanation, and that some truths may remain just beyond reach, waiting for a future generation, or perhaps remaining forever as whispered puzzles in the dark. In contemplating these mysteries, listeners are invited to step softly into the quiet spaces of human history, to feel the weight of unanswered questions, and to explore the delicate tension between curiosity and acceptance. The unsolved crimes of the world are like silent echoes across time, each one resonating with the universal human desire for understanding, yet gently reminding us of the infinite complexity of life. And as the stories unfold in the calm cadence of narration, we are left with a subtle sense of awe, an appreciation for the mysteries that surround us, and a gentle acknowledgement that some questions are meant to linger in the mind, quietly, like shadows stretching across the twilight of understanding. History, often thought of as a solid chain of events, is in reality a tapestry woven with gaps, contradictions, and unexplained threads. Behind every recorded battle, every treaty signed, and every ancient city built, there lie moments shrouded in uncertainty, events whose true causes and consequences may never be fully understood. These are the puzzles of the past, the enigmas that haunt the corridors of time. Even the most meticulous historians, armed with scrolls, artifacts, and painstaking records, cannot illuminate every shadow. Some decisions seem to defy logic, some outcomes appear inexplicable, and some entire chapters of human experience are lost to the silence of time. It is in these absences, these quiet gaps between the known and the unknowable, that the allure of history's mysteries emerges, drawing the mind to linger in contemplation. Consider the vanished civilizations, places where once thriving societies disappeared with little explanation. Entire cities abandoned, cultures lost, and knowledge erased leave us with questions that may never be answered. Archaeologists uncover ruins and remnants, but the deeper context, the motives, the everyday lives, the tragedies that led to disappearance, remains elusive. In the ruins of forgotten empires, we glimpse the tension between human ambition and the unpredictability of fate. Each stone, each artifact, whispers a fragment of a story, but the full narrative stretches tantalizingly beyond reach. The mind is invited to wander among these ancient streets, imagining lives that flickered and faded, leaving only echoes behind. Even well-documented events often harbor puzzling contradictions. Wars fought with unclear strategies, political alliances formed or broken for obscure reasons, and sudden collapses of governments invite reflection. Historians sometimes encounter records that contradict each other, leaving the true sequence of events a mystery. Why did certain leaders make decisions that seem irrational in hindsight? What forces, unseen or unrecorded, influenced the course of history? The past, though recorded, is filtered through human perception, subject to bias, chance, and error. The further back in time we go, the murkier these records become, until history itself resembles a half-lit landscape, familiar yet strange, inviting contemplation rather than immediate answers. Then there are moments when small, seemingly insignificant details defy explanation, yet change the course of events. A missing letter, a misread map, a lost artifact. Such minor anomalies ripple outward, producing consequences that historians can observe but not fully account for. These subtle disruptions illustrate how history is rarely a neat progression of cause and effect. Instead, it is a delicate interplay of known actions and hidden influences, where mystery is embedded in the fabric of reality. As we examine these moments, we are reminded of the unpredictability of human life, the way small choices can resonate through centuries, and the quiet gaps in our understanding that make history feel alive, elusive, and endlessly fascinating. Historical figures themselves often present enigmas. Leaders whose motives remain opaque, inventors whose inspirations cannot be traced, artists whose personal lives contradict their creations. These individuals are a reminder that human complexity defies neat categorization. Their lives are recorded in fragments, anecdotes, and letters, yet the full essence of their experiences is lost to time. Biographies may attempt to reconstruct intention, but the mind behind the actions often remains inaccessible, hidden beneath layers of perception and context. It is this tension between the documented and the hidden that gives history its haunting quality, encouraging us to reflect on the unknowable dimensions of human existence. Beyond individuals, the patterns of societies themselves offer puzzles. Civilizations rise and fall with rhythms that are often difficult to predict. Prosperous empires collapse under mysterious pressures. Seemingly resilient cultures vanish, and technological advancements appear in leaps rather than gradual steps. Economists, anthropologists, and historians alike marvel at these fluctuations, sometimes able to trace contributing factors but rarely able to fully account for the outcomes. The past, in its intricacy, mirrors a vast, complex system in which human intention, environmental forces, and chance intersect. Observing these patterns, we feel both a sense of order and an awareness of the gaps in understanding, a duality that is at once comforting and unsettling. Some historical enigmas are tangible, found in artifacts and architecture whose purpose or origin is uncertain. Monumental constructions, elaborate engineering feats, and intricate artworks hint at knowledge and capabilities that challenge our assumptions about past societies. The existence of these objects provokes reflection on human creativity, ingenuity, and perhaps even lost technologies. Each stone or inscription raises questions about who built it, why it was made, and what knowledge may have been lost alongside it. These mysteries are silent yet persistent, bridging the tangible past with the intangible unknown, inviting the imagination to roam freely across the centuries. Even seemingly well-understood events can harbor subtleties that escape comprehension. Natural disasters that altered the course of empires, sudden cultural shifts, or unexpected alliances can only partially be reconstructed. Historians can trace the outcomes but not fully grasp the immediate, lived experiences that shaped them. The interplay between documentation and lived reality creates a liminal space where speculation is inevitable and mystery thrives. In reflecting upon these uncertainties, we are encouraged to embrace the quiet elegance of not knowing, to allow space for imagination and contemplation. The past is not only a record, but a living landscape of questions, each unanswered detail a gentle echo of the unknown. Ultimately, history's puzzles remind us of the limitations of human knowledge and the enduring allure of the unexplained. They show us that even in an age of information, there will always be corners of the past shrouded in shadow, waiting to be explored in thought and imagination. These enigmas are not failures of scholarship, but invitations to pause, reflect, and marvel at the depth and complexity of human experience. In contemplating them, we enter a gentle rhythm of curiosity, moving between certainty and speculation, fact and wonder, guided by the quiet, persistent hum of the unknown. As we journey through these historical mysteries, we sense a connection to generations past, an awareness that humans have always grappled with the unknown. Every unresolved question, every hidden detail, is a reminder that history is not static, but a living dialogue between what has been recorded and what remains elusive. And as we linger in this reflective space, we come to understand that perhaps the true value of these enigmas is not in uncovering definitive answers, but in the act of contemplation itself. In the quiet, immersive exploration of history's puzzles, the mind finds a serene fascination, a gentle acknowledgement that some mysteries are meant to inspire wonder rather than certainty. Some places on Earth seem to exist outside the normal boundaries of explanation, where the ordinary rules of logic and expectation are subtly, persistently defied. They are landscapes that speak of forgotten histories, of events and energies that continue to leave their mark long after the people who once inhabited them have vanished. Wandering through such locations, one feels a quiet disorientation, as though the natural and human worlds are not quite aligned, and the familiar becomes subtly strange. Abandoned cities, silent temples, and ruins perched in improbable locations invite reflection, offering a sense of awe tempered by unease. They are reminders that the world, though mapped and measured, still holds corners that resist full comprehension. Among these enigmatic places are ruins whose origins and purposes remain mysterious. Entire settlements, carefully constructed yet abandoned for reasons lost to history, hint at societies that flourished and then disappeared. The structures themselves often suggest advanced engineering or architectural ingenuity that seems unexpected for their time. Stone walls rise in patterns that align with celestial events, and buildings are positioned with a precision that challenges modern assumptions about ancient capabilities. As one imagines the lives that once animated these spaces, the mind begins to fill in the gaps with stories, speculation, and quiet wonder. Yet the certainty of these reconstructions is elusive, leaving a lingering sense that some knowledge was lost irretrievably with the passage of centuries. Other locations are steeped in a more ethereal mystery, places where natural formations themselves seem to defy conventional explanation. Unusual geological structures, perfect symmetry in rock formations, or landscapes that appear to have been sculpted with deliberate intent create a subtle tension between chance and design. The wind-swept patterns of stone, the alignment of rivers and valleys, and the sudden emergence of seemingly impossible formations invite contemplation. They suggest an interplay between natural forces and time, as though the earth itself has inscribed messages meant only to be glimpsed by those who pause long enough to notice. In these spaces, one feels the quiet hum of the unknown, a reminder that the planet carries secrets beyond human comprehension. Some of the most compelling locations are those where human legend and mystery intertwine. Certain forests, mountains, and islands are imbued with stories passed down through generations. Tales of sudden disappearances, strange lights, and inexplicable phenomena. These narratives, whether grounded in historical fact or shaped by folklore, create an atmosphere in which the physical world and the world of imagination seem to merge. The presence of a stone circle, a crumbling fortress, or a long-abandoned village carries a weight beyond the tangible, suggesting a lingering connection to the people and events that shaped them. It is a delicate interplay between memory, myth, and reality that leaves the observer suspended between curiosity and quiet reverence. Abandoned cities offer their own haunting lessons. In the quiet corridors of empty homes, streets overrun with vegetation, and marketplaces frozen in time, there is a palpable sense of absence. The lives of those who once inhabited these places can be traced in the minutiae, faded inscriptions on walls, objects left behind, or the arrangement of buildings designed for communal life. Yet, despite this evidence, the reasons for departure, the choices made, and the emotions experienced remain inaccessible, leaving the mind to wander through hypothetical explanations. It is this mixture of evidence and ambiguity that gives these locations their compelling allure. They are spaces where imagination is invited to roam, where history and mystery coexist in quiet equilibrium. Other sites, though not abandoned, radiate mystery through inexplicable patterns of human activity. Some towns, settlements, and ceremonial centers exhibit alignments, structures, or artifacts that hint at knowledge lost or hidden. The precise astronomical orientations of certain temples, the unexpected complexity of ancient irrigation systems, and the construction of massive edifices with limited technology provoke reflection on the ingenuity of past civilizations. These achievements challenge modern assumptions about historical capabilities and remind us that human understanding, though vast, is not absolute. In observing such sites, one senses the whisper of knowledge that existed, vanished, or remains hidden from view, a subtle echo of the minds that created it. In some instances, locations hold inexplicable events that continue into the present day. Remote valleys may experience sudden, unaccountable weather phenomena. Mountainsides seem to resonate with sounds that defy explanation. Lakes appear to move or change form with no observable cause. These phenomena, though subtle, reinforce the sense that the world is layered with mysteries that resist full comprehension. The contrast between familiar landscapes and these subtle anomalies creates a meditative tension, a gentle reminder that the earth itself has its own secret rhythms, operating beyond the full grasp of human perception. Even the most accessible sites can harbor quiet enigmas. Ancient cathedrals, temples, and sacred spaces often incorporate symbolism, design, or hidden chambers whose meaning is lost to time. Walkways and windows may align with solstices, inscriptions may encode messages that puzzle linguists, and artwork may reveal patterns that hint at knowledge no longer understood. These locations blend human intention with mystery, inviting contemplation rather than resolution. Observers are encouraged to move slowly, notice small details, and feel the subtle interplay between what is visible and what remains hidden. In this attentive presence, the world opens itself up, revealing layers that are not immediately apparent, encouraging reflection on the impermanence of human knowledge. Traveling through these places, there's also a psychological effect, a gentle tug on the mind that encourages quiet curiosity. The sense of being slightly out of step with the ordinary, of entering spaces shaped by histories and energies we cannot fully comprehend, evokes both awe and introspection. Visitors are not merely observers. They are participants in a continuum that stretches across centuries, connected to those who came before and those yet to arrive. Each step taken in these spaces, each pattern noticed or unexplained feature observed, deepens a reflective engagement with the world. It is a calm, meditative interaction with the unknown, a journey that stretches the imagination while grounding the mind in quiet awareness. Ultimately, these places that defy logic invite a form of attentive stillness, a gentle surrender to curiosity. They remind us that not every space is meant to be fully understood, and that some mysteries are not failures to be solved but experiences to be felt. By wandering through abandoned ruins, gazing upon impossible formations, or contemplating the subtle enigmas embedded in human design, we cultivate a sense of wonder that transcends time and knowledge. These locations, silent and persistent, carry the resonance of forgotten histories and hidden forces, encouraging us to move slowly, reflect deeply, and embrace the beauty of questions that may never have answers. In the quiet reflection of these places, the world becomes an intricate, living tapestry of mystery. Each location offers a window into the unknown, a gentle reminder that reality is richer and stranger than we often allow ourselves to perceive. By dwelling in these spaces with calm attention, we reconnect with the timeless human experience of wonder and curiosity, of exploration and contemplation. And in doing so, we are reminded that some of the greatest mysteries do not reside in distant galaxies or complex theories, but in the very ground beneath our feet, in the places shaped by hands and hearts long gone, waiting patiently to be seen, imagined, and quietly understood. Encounters with the unexplained often arrive unbidden, slipping into human experience in ways that defy anticipation or reason. They are moments that cannot be neatly categorized, stories that linger long after the events themselves have passed. People recount seeing lights that move with a deliberate intelligence across the night sky, hearing sounds with no identifiable source, or feeling presences that are at once gentle and unsettling. These experiences, though deeply personal, create a bridge between the known and the unknown, inviting reflection rather than skepticism. Even when rational explanations are offered, there remains a residue of mystery, a sense that something extraordinary has brushed against the ordinary fabric of life. Some of the most compelling accounts come from those who have witnessed phenomena that challenge the very laws of nature. Objects moving without visible cause, apparitions appearing in abandoned spaces, or sudden, inexplicable changes in the environment, all evoke a tension between belief and disbelief. Observers often describe a quiet, almost reverent awareness, a feeling that they are touching a layer of reality normally hidden from perception. These moments are rarely accompanied by fear. Instead, they carry a gentle, profound curiosity, a recognition that the universe is larger, stranger, and more subtle than everyday experience suggests. Each encounter leaves a trace on memory, a delicate echo that resounds quietly through consciousness. Encounters are not limited to extraordinary events. Sometimes they appear in the mundane, subtle yet undeniably anomalous. A familiar path may suddenly feel otherworldly, a shadow may linger too long, or a sound may reverberate with a pattern that defies explanation. These experiences remind us that mystery is not confined to distant lands or dramatic circumstances. It exists in the interstices of daily life, waiting to be noticed by those attuned to its presence. The calm, attentive observer senses these moments as whispers of the unknown, gentle nudges that encourage reflection on the unseen patterns shaping reality. Many experiences involve phenomena that seem to connect with human consciousness in ways not yet understood. Reports of precognition, visions, or inexplicable intuitions suggest that the mind may perceive patterns or possibilities before they manifest. People have documented sudden awareness of events that later occur, a subtle and unsettling form of knowing that challenges conventional understanding of time and causality. These experiences, though not universally reproducible or scientifically verified, carry a profound impact on those who experience them. They foster contemplation of the boundaries of human perception, a quiet acknowledgement that reality may extend beyond the limits of what we can measure or explain. Historical accounts of such encounters deepen the sense of continuity across generations. Ancient texts describe luminous apparitions, celestial phenomena, and encounters with beings whose intentions are mysterious and often benevolent. Folklore and legend, too, abound with stories of sudden insights, protective presences, and strange signs that guided decisions long before modern understanding of the world. These narratives, whether interpreted as spiritual, psychological, or symbolic, reflect humanity's enduring engagement with the unexplained. They remind us that encounters with mystery are not a modern curiosity, but a timeless aspect of human experience, a thread woven into the fabric of culture and consciousness. Unexplained encounters often occur in locations already imbued with mystery. Remote landscapes, ancient ruins, or sacred sites serve as stages for phenomena that resist ordinary understanding. Observers report that such places carry a resonance, a subtle awareness of layers of history and energy accumulated over time. The silence of a deserted valley, the stillness of a moonlit temple, or the shadowed recesses of a forest seems to heighten perception, allowing events to manifest that might otherwise go unnoticed. In these spaces, the boundary between physical reality and the ineffable feels porous, as if the world itself is hinting at secrets not meant for casual observation, but for quiet contemplation. Some encounters involve interactions with beings or presences that remain undefined. Shadows that seem to observe, figures glimpsed at the periphery of vision, and sensations of communication without words all provoke both awe and reflection. These experiences rarely provide answers. Instead, they present questions, delicate, persistent, and profound. Witnesses often describe a sense of connection or recognition, a fleeting awareness that they are part of something larger, something that stretches beyond ordinary human perception. The narratives of such experiences emphasize subtlety rather than spectacle, encouraging a meditative, reflective engagement with the unknown. Technological documentation has captured some of these phenomena, yet the results often deepen the mystery rather than resolve it. Photographs, videos, and electronic readings sometimes reveal anomalies, but they rarely provide clarity. Instead, they serve as prompts for reflection, evidence of events that challenge understanding without delivering definitive answers. Even the most careful analysis leaves room for speculation, a space in which imagination and awareness coexist. In this interplay, the human observer becomes an active participant, contemplating patterns and possibilities that extend beyond conventional explanation. Encounters with the unexplained also highlight the fragility and wonder of human perception. The mind interprets, senses, and processes, yet it is not always in full command of reality. Dreams, intuitions, fleeting impressions, and moments of heightened awareness blend with sensory perception, creating experiences that feel both real and ineffable. Such encounters remind us that the boundaries of human experience are not fixed, that reality may contain layers that elude measurement but leave a lasting impression on the soul. These moments encourage humility, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty with calm attention. Ultimately, the richness of these encounters lies not in resolution, but in experience. The unexplained invites reflection on the nature of reality, perception, and consciousness. It encourages patience, subtle observation, and openness to possibility. By dwelling on these moments, whether extraordinary or subtle, we cultivate a quiet appreciation for the vastness and intricacy of existence. The world, in these encounters, appears layered and alive, a delicate interplay of seen and unseen, known and unknown. And in this space, a gentle awe emerges, an understanding that mystery is not merely a puzzle to be solved, but an invitation to wonder. Encounters with the unexplained, in their infinite variety, teach us to move gently with curiosity, to notice without demanding certainty, and to savor the subtle resonance of experiences that challenge logic. They are reminders that reality is complex, dynamic, and often beyond the grasp of conventional explanation. Through these stories, whether whispered in the shadows of ancient ruins or recalled from the quiet corners of daily life, we connect with a timeless human tradition of observation, reflection, and wonder. And as the mind lingers in these narratives, it finds a serene fascination, a calm engagement with the unknown, and a profound acknowledgement that some mysteries are best experienced rather than solved. Throughout history and across cultures, certain patterns seem to emerge repeatedly, leaving both scientists and philosophers intrigued, perplexed, and quietly reflective. There are sequences in events, repetitions in human behavior, and echoes of phenomena that appear across time and space, suggesting a subtle order underlying the apparent chaos of existence. Some of these patterns are statistical, measurable, and observable, while others resist quantification, appearing as coincidences too precise, too persistent, to be merely random. The allure of these recurring motifs lies in their quiet insistence. They invite observation, contemplation, and sometimes even a sense of wonder that borders on the ineffable. To witness such patterns is to glimpse the world's hidden architecture, an invisible lattice that connects moments, actions, and occurrences across centuries and continents. The natural world itself offers endless examples of patterns that both fascinate and mystify. The symmetry of a snowflake, the spirals of seashell, and the recurring cycles of seasons all suggest a rhythm inherent to life and the cosmos. Yet beyond these observable patterns are anomalies that defy expectation. Weather events that recur with uncanny similarity, animal behaviors that hint at intelligence or foresight beyond comprehension, or geological formations that mirror each other in distant lands. These repetitions, subtle yet persistent, challenge our understanding of chance and causality, leaving us to wonder whether there is an underlying logic, or perhaps an unseen hand, that shapes the unfolding of events. In the quiet observation of nature, one senses both the comfort of order and the exhilaration of mystery, a duality that inspires reflective curiosity. Human history, too, is marked by patterns that puzzle and intrigue. Civilizations rise and fall with curious regularity. Empires expand and collapse under pressures that, while partially understood, often carry an air of inevitability that defies complete explanation. Wars erupt in cycles. Innovations emerge in waves, and cultural movements recur in forms that echo their predecessors. Scholars have long debated whether these patterns are driven by social, environmental, or psychological forces, or whether they reflect something deeper, a hidden rhythm to human existence. Observing these repetitions invites a calm reflection on continuity and change, on the interplay between individual choice and collective forces that shape the trajectory of societies across time. It is a gentle reminder that while we may feel separate from history, we are, in fact, part of an ongoing pattern that stretches across generations. Even on a smaller, personal scale, recurring motifs appear in human behavior and experience. Individuals often encounter synchronicities, events that coincide in meaningful, sometimes inexplicable ways. A person may meet strangers who seem uncannily familiar, experience moments that mirror distant memories, or notice symbols and numbers appearing repeatedly in their lives. These coincidences, though easily dismissed as chance, resonate with a quiet insistence that there is more at play than mere randomness. They invite reflection on the subtle connections that link moments, individuals, and experiences, suggesting a web of hidden relationships that quietly shape reality. In this awareness, one begins to appreciate the poetry of life, the delicate balance between the predictable and the mysterious. Numerology, symbolism, and mystical frameworks often attempt to interpret these recurring patterns, providing maps, languages, or systems through which the unknown might be glimpsed. Whether it is the recurrence of particular numbers, the repetition of symbolic motifs in art and architecture, or the cyclical timing of events, these interpretations offer a framework for engaging with the inexplicable. Even when their conclusions remain uncertain, they encourage reflection on the possibility that reality has layers beyond the immediately perceptible. By exploring these symbolic patterns, we cultivate a mindful attention to subtleties that might otherwise pass unnoticed, fostering a deeper engagement with the rhythm and texture of the world. Some patterns, however, are deeply mysterious because they resist explanation altogether. Events separated by geography and time may exhibit striking similarities, sudden disappearances, inexplicable phenomena, or synchronized human behaviors occur in ways that seem to echo each other across cultures and eras. These uncanny repetitions evoke a quiet sense of awe, hinting at a hidden order, or at least a hidden narrative, that our ordinary perception cannot fully grasp. The mind is drawn into a reflective state, noticing connections, contemplating possibilities, and marveling at the sheer improbability of such coincidences occurring by chance alone. In this contemplation, we experience the dual pleasure of curiosity and wonder, a gentle acknowledgement of the richness of mystery that permeates both nature and human life. Mathematical and scientific patterns, too, contribute to this quiet fascination. The Fibonacci sequence appears in plants, shells, and galaxies. Fractal structures emerge in rivers, mountains, and even clouds. Physical laws produce regularities that are both predictable and beautiful, yet they coexist with anomalies that defy straightforward explanation. Observing these regularities alongside exceptions encourages a reflective appreciation of the complexity and subtlety of the universe. The interplay between order and irregularity mirrors the balance between knowledge and mystery, revealing a world that is at once comprehensible and endlessly enigmatic. Even seemingly random events often display hidden patterns when viewed over time. Researchers have documented repetitive motifs in social behaviors, in historical occurrences, and in psychological phenomena. The repeated rise and fall of empires, the cyclical nature of human conflicts, and the recurrence of particular discoveries suggest that patterns extend beyond the immediately visible, emerging from layers of subtle cause and effect. The recognition of these cycles does not necessarily provide absolute clarity, but it does offer a gentle framework through which we can understand the rhythms of existence. It encourages a patient attention to the unfolding of events, fostering both curiosity and a calm acceptance of life's inherent complexity. Ultimately, these patterns that puzzle the ages teach a quiet lesson. The world is neither entirely random nor fully predictable. There is a rhythm, a subtle architecture, and a recurring resonance that invites attention, contemplation, and wonder. Some patterns may never be fully understood, yet they continue to offer insight into the interplay of forces that shape our reality. Observing them encourages a reflective state of mind, a gentle awareness that life is layered, intricate, and infused with quiet mysteries that reveal themselves only to those willing to notice, reflect, and listen. As we reflect on these patterns, there's a sense of connection, not only to the natural world and human history, but also to the continuum of experience across time. Each recurrence, each repetition, is a gentle reminder that we are part of something larger, a vast and intricate web of relationships, influences, and phenomena. In contemplating these patterns, we find a quiet harmony, a recognition that mystery is not a failure of understanding, but a constant companion, a delicate whisper of the unknown that enriches our perception and invites us to linger with curiosity. And in this reflective space, we discover that mystery, order, and the passage of time are intertwined in ways both subtle and profound, guiding us gently toward awe, reflection, and quiet wonder. As we arrive at the final reflection, it becomes clear that mystery is not merely an obstacle to understanding, but a companion, a quiet presence woven into the very fabric of human experience. Across the vast tapestry of time and space, in the depths of the mind, in the silent ruins of civilizations, in the unexplained occurrences scattered throughout history, and in the subtle patterns of nature, mystery exists as an enduring invitation to wonder. It whispers to us, urging attention, contemplation, and a gentle curiosity that does not demand immediate answers. In embracing these enigmas, we allow our minds to roam, to drift through questions that have no definitive resolution, cultivating patience, openness, and a profound sense of awe. The unexplained, the unresolved, and the ineffable are not failures of comprehension. They are reminders that the world is richer, more intricate, and more extraordinary than we often give ourselves permission to perceive. Every story we have traversed, from the baffling events that defy logic to the strange, fleeting encounters that leave a lingering sense of wonder, from the cold cases of history to the subtle, recurring patterns of nature, reveals a quiet truth. Uncertainty is not emptiness, and the unknown is not void. Rather, these moments are invitations to reflection, to meditation, and to the cultivation of a mind attuned to nuance. The unknown is not absence. It is a landscape for the imagination, a space where possibilities shimmer just beyond the reach of reason. Consider the vanished civilizations whose stones still whisper their long-forgotten stories, or the brilliant minds whose extraordinary abilities continue to defy explanation. Even the subtle phenomena of our own lives, the fleeting sense of intuition, the moments of uncanny coincidence, the impressions of forces or presences we cannot name, offer a bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary, between the tangible and the ineffable. There is a rhythm to how mystery touches life, and it varies in intensity and form. Some enigmas strike with immediacy, dramatic and undeniable, leaving a mark that persists long after the event itself has passed. Others are quiet, patient, lingering for years, even decades, before revealing themselves in ways that are subtle, almost imperceptible. Yet, whether loud or gentle, these mysteries serve a shared purpose. They slow us down. They demand attention, inviting contemplation rather than action, reflection rather than solution. In this slowing, there's a calm beauty, a meditative opportunity to observe, to linger in thought, and to notice the delicate threads that connect moments, events, and experiences across time. Mystery, in this sense, is not a disruption but a guide, leading us gently into reflection, quiet awe, and the cultivation of a mind at ease with the unknown. The interplay between certainty and uncertainty is central to this journey. Facts anchor us. They provide structure, clarity, and reassurance. Yet beyond the boundaries of fact lies a world that resists quantification, defies expectation, and stretches the imagination. This tension between what is known and what cannot be fully grasped mirrors natural rhythms, the alternation of day and night, the balance of light and shadow, the passage of seasons. Just as twilight softens the edges of the landscape, mystery blurs the edges of comprehension, inviting reflection without demanding resolution. It is a dance between clarity and ambiguity, a poetic balance that fosters both calm and intellectual engagement, allowing the mind to roam freely in spaces that are not fully illuminated but are rich with possibility. Perhaps the most profound aspect of mystery is its universality. Across cultures, eras, and disciplines, humans have been captivated by what cannot be fully explained. Stories of strange phenomena, baffling events, vanished civilizations, and extraordinary human abilities appear across every continent and every generation. Legends, myths, folklore, and anecdotal accounts all preserve these enigmas, not simply to solve them, but to honor their existence and to participate in their quiet resonance. Mystery, it seems, is intrinsic to the human condition. It is woven into our storytelling, our history, our art, and even our rituals. In engaging with these mysteries, we connect to generations past and to generations yet to come, acknowledging that reality is vast, layered, and infinitely more intricate than we can fully understand. We find ourselves participants in a timeless dialogue with the unknown, suspended between what we can know and what we can only wonder about. Embracing mystery also cultivates humility. Despite all human knowledge, technological advancement, and analytical prowess, there remain realms that evade comprehension. The universe, the mind, human history, and the natural world are filled with phenomena whose complexity surpasses our current understanding. Acknowledging this is not a defeat, but a form of wisdom. It allows us to cultivate reverence, patience, and quiet acceptance. The value of mystery lies not in the solving of puzzles, but in the awareness of the vast unknown, in the ability to move through life with curiosity and attentive observation. There is freedom in recognizing the limits of knowledge, a gentle liberation in accepting that some truths are not meant to be fully grasped, only experienced, reflected upon, and appreciated in their subtlety. This reflection on mystery also reveals its transformative power. It teaches us to slow down, to observe deeply, and to find meaning in the subtleties that might otherwise go unnoticed. It invites contemplation of the interconnectedness of all things, how the ebb and flow of history influences the present, how patterns in nature resonate with human behavior, and how fleeting experiences can ripple across time and memory. Each mystery, each unexplained event, is a reminder of the richness and depth of life. By attending to them, we cultivate a sense of wonder that is gentle, enduring, and restorative, allowing the mind to move fluidly between curiosity and calm reflection. Even the small mysteries of daily life carry profound significance. A sudden intuition, a chance encounter, a fleeting shadow, or a whisper of memory. These moments, though subtle, provide windows into the extraordinary complexity of existence. They remind us that life is not entirely predictable, that there are dimensions of experience that elude rational explanation. By noticing and reflecting on these subtle phenomena, we attune ourselves to the richness of the present moment, cultivating mindfulness and appreciation for the quiet magic of existence. In doing so, we discover that mystery is not merely an external pursuit, but a deeply personal journey, one that unfolds within the contours of consciousness itself. The stories we have explored, the baffling phenomena, the enigmatic historical events, the unexplained encounters, the recurring patterns across nature and time, all converge to reveal a simple truth. Mystery is a vital, living element of human experience. It inspires creativity, nurtures curiosity, and fosters reflection. It teaches us patience, humility, and the capacity to linger in quiet wonder. It reminds us that while the world can be observed, measured, and analyzed, there will always remain layers beyond comprehension, waiting to be glimpsed, felt, or imagined. These mysteries are not failures of understanding, but invitations to marvel at the richness, intricacy, and beauty of existence. As we dwell in this final contemplation, there is a sense of connection, not only to the mysteries themselves, but to the continuum of human experience. The echoes of those who pondered the unknown before us, and the possibilities that await future generations, remind us that we are part of a larger, enduring story. Each unresolved question, each anomaly, each subtle pattern is a thread linking us to the past, present, and future. We find ourselves within a quiet continuum of curiosity, reflection, and awe, connected by the timeless human desire to understand, explore, and appreciate the infinite complexity of life and the universe. Ultimately, the world is vast, layered, and alive with phenomena that challenge comprehension. Its mysteries invite us to slow down, to observe, and to reflect. They encourage us to move gently through life, to cultivate awareness, and to appreciate the beauty of questions that may never have definitive answers. In embracing the unknown, we nurture a sense of presence, attentiveness, and reverence. We come to understand that the value of mystery lies not in resolution, but in experience, in the act of noticing, contemplating, and quietly marveling at the extraordinary depth and subtlety of existence. And so, as the final echoes of these stories settle, there's a lingering sense of serenity and awe. We have journeyed through baffling phenomena, historical enigmas, mysterious encounters, and recurring patterns that span the natural and human worlds. Each mystery has been a teacher, urging patience, reflection, and wonder. And in this expansive, meditative awareness, we recognize that some truths are not meant to be solved, but to be felt, pondered, and cherished. Mystery, in its many forms, remains a quiet companion, inviting us to move through life with curiosity, mindfulness, and gentle awe. In this embrace of the unknown, we find a calm, enduring sense of connection to the world, to history, to consciousness, and to the infinite tapestry of reality itself.